should I seek an okay from the Italian Americans in my life? Or is that turning you guys into a monolith? Like, I don't know how to repair the damage I've done, because my consumption of pizza and pasta has been pretty, I mean, it just speaks to the non-Italian privilege I have, that I have never even thought about how problematic it was.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, like, you know, like, everyone is kind of not aware enough of their Italian privilege. It's like, you know, people just go around, you know, reading books and stuff, and they don't
You
think...
mean non-Italian privilege?
Yeah, non-Italian privilege. Like, people just go around, like, doing things that, like, you know, Italians can never do.
Use a lot of your
like,
brain.
Like reading books and, like, you know...
Like more cerebral things, right?
Exactly.
Like, am I like, is that, I don't want to say anything about Italians not being cerebral.
Yeah.
I'm just like, is that what you were saying?
Yeah. It's like, you know, like, as Italians, okay. Like, you know, we're not able to do things like
we can't put together furniture. Yeah. That's not a stereotype. That's my lived truth.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to, I want to hold space for this conversation because it's so vital to our understanding of each other. But on the topic of, you know, Italian Americans who have been just unjustly vilified, I do think that we have to discuss, you know, girl boss in chief Nancy Pelosi.
Well, I just want to,
Mama Bear.
Before we get into Nancy Pelosi for a minute, I do just want to, you know, complete this conversation really quick, that I will say...
Can you thread the needle?
Yeah, I'll thread the needle because, like, I feel like a lot of the reason that people feel all right making fun of Italian Americans is because we kiss our relatives right on the mouth. And ultimately, we live in a culture where most people are not bringing awareness to the topic of being gay with your dad, which is why... we do this podcast, right? You know, everyone loves to kink shame. And yeah. And
you know what? That stops here today.
And now.
Yeah. We celebrate all love, including same-sex relationships with your father.
Yeah.
Right, because that has really been excluded from the
discourse.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can call yourself intersectional and kind of gloss over the those kinds of relationships.
I mean, I ultimately, you know, I think that we'll see a future where potentially everyone is in a same-sex relationship with their father.
That's right.
With your father. I'm sorry. I'm really attached to the idea of it being with your father, but that's just because of my own that's like my personal lived trauma, my intergenerational trauma.
Yeah. It's like how I feel about, you know, being in a relationship with your mom, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Honestly, if I'm going to be able to, like, if I'm going to interrogate that on your end with your dad, then I have to actually, you know, I have to walk the walk. I can't just talk the talk.
I mean, it's like, you know, I think one thing that never really gets discussed in comedy.
Unpacked.
You know, like, obviously, you know, people are bringing a lot of new consciousness to, you know, the various ways in which comedy can be a tool of the oppressor. But yeah, we have people just dropping your mom jokes all the time. You know, I fucked your mom. Your mama was so...
I mean, I actually dropped your mom last night, which is funny.
Well, I mean, it's like, the thing is
mom jokes.
What's wrong with having sex with your mom? Nothing. You know, like, love is love is love is love is love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like 12 bumper stickers. Let's say that.
And honestly, I do feel that the LGBT plus community has become, you know,
the LGBT community, D standing for your dad.
Your dad. Right. Well, I do.
QIA.
Right. And I do feel that the reason why, you know, the D is not a household name yet is just because of the, like, really corporate and sometimes violent infrastructure that the community
Bill
has subscribed to over the years.
Yeah. You know who doesn't want you to be gay with your dad? Capital One.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Who does want you to be gay with your dad,
We do. That's why we started a podcast about having a same-sex relationship with your father.
Dad. Yeah.
It's time to normalize it. It's time to stop the kink shaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so do we want to move on to the Nancy Pelosi's top girl boss moments?
Yes, I think
that sounds really.
It sounds so good.
Sounds really juicy.
So, okay, Julia, what's your fave?
Okay, there are so many because she is like, of course, the queen of shade, and she's just done so many like incredible girl boss, just acts of defiance. Like the time where she said. This is just one of them. The time where she said that the Democratic Party should welcome people who are anti-choice. I think that was a girl boss moment to actually like reclaim the idea of women not having ownership over their body. I think that was really brave of her.
And yet simultaneously be inclusive of
right.
women who do want to have ownership of their bodies,
right.
you know?
Right.
Wow, I'm just actually, as I'm saying this, I'm just like so uncomfortable with the word ownership. I feel like that is like really problematic.
Really,
like, especially like as white women.
Rhetoric. Yeah. No, I get it.
I feel like it just,
which is only okay to use in a same-sex relationship with your father.
With your dad, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I don't think an interracial same-sex relationship with your dad, though, lends itself to that. Like, I think we have to be really conscious and aware of that. And I think it speaks to, like, a strong white privilege that exists among same-sex dad-on-child relationships. Yeah. So we can't look at gender without looking at race. And if you do that, you're, of course, not truly intersectional. And I feel like if Kimberly Crenshaw were here, she'd be really triggered. Yeah. And I mean, she's not here and she's being gaslit because like, you don't need to be here to be gaslit. You know, like,
oh my God,
that's so
like if a tree falls,
a
tree falls and no one hears it, doesn't make a sound. Well, what we don't know that, but what we do know is that if you gaslight someone, they're not here, they are gaslit.
Katie,
yeah, and I mean, if I think about it, really, by saying that you have to be physically present or at least in communication to be gaslit, I mean, that's a form of gatekeeping. So
and ableism.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's actually interesting that you didn't see right away that it was ableist. I think you may want to like just reflect on that and see what that brings up for you, because you may find out a lot about yourself. But yeah, gatekeeping too. Ableist gatekeeping, which is actually a very hard thing to do. I learned the hard way.
Oh, well. Look,
not everyone is physically able to gatekeep, and we need to make space for that.
We need to make space for that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to say, I want to
thank... They're gate nudgers. Right. Gate nudgers. Yeah.
Katie, I just want to thank you for calling me in on the language that I didn't realize I was using that was problematic. And, you know, again, that is my privilege, blindness as a just plain old white woman, white, comma, in parentheses, nothing.
Okay, but when you call yourself a plain old white woman, okay, that is ageism, old.
Also,
okay,
blind, we're doing some more ableist language.
Yeah,
with blinds,
and plain,
but,
it's like you're not acknowledging your hot privilege.
Oh my gosh.
Also, there's like the plains and like Native Americans, and that's also like
stolen land.
We are on stolen land, which includes plains. So I'm just, again, like, I'm really... You know, it's a fine line to walk, because I want to congratulate and I want to like salute your guys' efforts, but I also don't want to be complicit. And I don't want to cater to assumptions. So I'm just really reckoning with that. And so if I look checked out, that's what it is. So, you know, sometimes I may need to like go for a walk. And sometimes people are like, why aren't you in front of your mic and camera doing a podcast? And they don't realize that they're actually being really ableist, because that's the way I have to let off steam sometimes, is I have to walk around and like, you know, like chocolate sometimes is like required for me to feel better. So I feel like really naked and exposed right now. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was too much.
I actually really love when people are vulnerable, you know?
Okay, great. It's like, I needed to hear that.
Girl boss Brene Brown, you know, she's like really been so inspirational to me. Like that is, I mean, ever since I like found her work, I've just been crying at all times. In front of everyone.
Because if you're not crying, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so true.
I mean, except if you're mad, then sometimes it's okay to not be crying when you're outraged, or even
like if
outraged.
You're like yelling.
If you're yelling, yeah, then that's okay, unless the person that you're yelling at is not a straight white man. It's only okay to yell at them. Yeah.
In which case, you should be yelling at yourself.
I mean, really, are we living in an age though where, I mean, in terms of like yelling, you know, I've been operating like it's only cool to yell at straight white guys, but are we kind of